I read that she was only paid like 900 USD at the time. That's a little crazy how little she got paid for it. Guess she was forever in the annals of Disney and film history. I'm Rebecca Rose, a voice actor, singer, writer, actor, living life as creatively as I can, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to do a little review of the Disney princesses. We're gonna make our way up to the 90s, but we're gonna talk a little bit about the musical styles that influenced the singers, who were the voice actors behind these characters, and maybe some other interesting trivia along the way. Let's get started with the one who started it all, Snow White.
Promise not to tell. We are standing by a wishing well.
So listen to her voice and the vibrato that's in it.
To the well. That's all you have to do. And if you hear it echoing, your wish will soon come true.
It's actually really lovely now that I listen to it again. There's kind of a joke that goes around that Snow White's voice is so high-pitched and trilly, and it's true, it's very unique amongst the Disney princess voices, and that was done purposefully. So Snow White is based on a European classic fairy tale. Walt Disney derived some of his musical inspirations from that. Snow White came out in the 1930s, 1937, and so if you think about the time, the kind of music that was popular then, you've got jazz, you have blues, this kind of music was coming up and dominating the airways. Yet if you listen to the music that's in Snow White, it's very operatic, and that's done purposefully. So the voice actress and singer of Snow White is Adriana Caselotti, and you can hear it in her voice that she got some specific training. Her father was a music teacher and vocal coach, and her mother was a soprano at the Royal Opera Theatre in Rome. And especially in that moment where she's singing into the well, that part you can hear that trill in her voice and how high and clear it is. That especially is indicative of the kind of training that she had. And Adriana Caselotti at the time, I think she was only maybe 18 years old. I read that she was only paid like 900 USD at the time, which translates to barely over $20,000 today. So that's a little crazy how little she got paid for it, but you know what? I guess she was forever in the annals of Disney and film history. So the music style, which is very European and classic, that's separated from what the dwarves are singing, which could be considered a bit more modern, right? Maybe jazz, blues, something. But there's a clear distinction between the music that Snow White is singing and her vocal styles and then what the dwarves are singing. I think it's supposed to show the audience as well that she was a princess, a European princess, a classical princess. And so the music choices that Disney made separate Snow White very clearly from the rest.
In dreams you will lose your heartache. Whatever you wish for, you keep.
A very different vocal style.
The dream that you wish will come true. Oh, that clock.
Oh, that clock. Already less than 20 years difference, you hear how much the concept of a Disney princess's voice has changed. Snow White, she was just youthful, little girl kind of vibe, and that comes out through her voice. Cinderella already feels a little bit more womanly. We don't actually know the age of the character. We can estimate maybe 18, 19, or 20, but it's very, very warm and lovely, and there's a little bit more confidence. So the voice actress of Cinderella is Eileen Woods. She was also already a singer, and she had some friends who were working on the music for Cinderella, and so they asked her to sing a demo for the song, and they played that. Walt Disney overheard it. "Who is this girl?" I am guessing is what he said. "Bring her immediately," I'm also assuming is what he said. And she was cast for the role of Cinderella. She apparently beat out 300 other voices to get this part, and she has also made her name in the history of Disney music.
Your heart may
She's a bit more confident, she's very melodious, she's clearly kind. That really translates well through her voice. But the musical score was really important for this film. The music itself is telling a story. 1950, a new perception of women was happening around the world, and especially in the US. Women were stepping out of a role of just kind of behind the man or quiet as a mouse in the house. But now we're coming into post-war America, getting a little bit more power in themselves. A little bit, let's say, for its time. And Cinderella was a princess who was stronger, more self-sufficient, and she made her own choices. Does anyone know what movie came next? So clear, so strong. Short and sweet, but already you know what this is from. So this is, of course, Aurora or Briar Rose. There's a lot of strength backing up her voice. She's a soprano, kind of like Snow White was, but very different in tonality, in resonance, and in power that's coming through. This princess has the least amount of speaking roles of any of the Disney princesses, and most of those roles is singing. The voice actress and singer for Sleeping Beauty was Mary Costa, and at the time, I believe she was early 20s. She was singing at a dinner party for entertainment people. Composer Walter Schumann heard her perform and offered her to audition. She just happened to be at the right place at the right time, which honestly can kind of be the truth for a lot of voice actors. Someone has to hear you at the right time for the right role, and that goes across the board for singing, voice acting, acting, all of that. Snow White's really round. Cinderella's very round. Briar Rose is very sharp and slender, and she kind of moves in a little bit more of a mature manner. It was complained that she's a bit of a passive princess. I mean, you can't really blame her. She was asleep for like 3/4 of the film. And also, it's kind of crazy if you think about it. Prince Philip was literally the first man she ever saw. Like, ever. Fun audio fact, her crying when she falls into her bed, she's like,
Now, dear.
that sound was actually the sound of Dopey crying at Snow White's funeral. So if you listen to that, you can hear exactly the same. This was the last Disney princess film that Walt Disney was actually working on. And then there was a long stretch of time where there were no princesses, almost 30 years.
Looking around here, you think, sure, she's got everything. I've got gadgets and gizmos aplenty. I've got who's its and what's its galore. You want thingamabobs? I got 20.
One of the first of the contemporary princesses, almost 30 years after the previous one. And she's played by Jodie Benson. I discovered that recently. She also played the voice of Thumbelina.
Once there was the sun.
Jodie Benson was a stage actress, which is why she has some of this power behind her voice, but they asked her to pull back just a little bit. For example, when she sang the song, Part of Your World, they had the lights dimmed in the studio so that she would feel a little bit more like enclosed, kind of in a tighter space, I suppose, to be underwater, maybe? And then it expands higher up. A bit more rebellious, still sweet, still youthful. And you know what? There is a whole lot of interesting stuff you could go into about Ariel's voice and what it represents and what it means.
My voice?
You've got it, sweet cakes. No more talking, singing, zip.
That's a video for another time.
And almost kind, but he was mean and he was coarse and unrefined. And now he's dear and so unsure. I wonder why I didn't see it there before.
Belle. She's really intelligent. She's so compassionate. She sees past the outer hideousness and the inner beauty of the beast. So the voice actor for Belle is Paige O'Hara.
Please, Gaston, I can't. I have to get home to help my father. Oh, that was good.
There must be more than this provincial life.
The screenwriter for Beauty and the Beast, Linda Woolverton, I believe, she based her character off of Katharine Hepburn in Little Women.
Christopher Columbus! Joe, don't use such dreadful expressions.
But dear me, let us be elegant or die. Your lover's arms stealing around you.
I'd like to see anybody try it.
Would you? Oh!
A little bit of the feminist movement, to be honest, kind of being shown in Belle and the choices that she makes. The fact that she's so intelligent, the fact that she is independent. She doesn't care what the other people think around her. She was definitely a princess ahead of her time. So listen to her singing voice first, and then we'll hear her speaking voice and see if you can hear any differences.
Or say we're only dreaming. A whole new world, a dazzling place I never.
It's like I can't help it. I can't help but smile because it's so clear, such a lovely voice.
It's crystal clear that now I'm in a whole new world with you. Now I'm in a whole new world.
Yes, it is Princess Jasmine, but the singing voice is Lea Salonga. It's different from the voiceover who did all the speaking parts. That's Linda Larkin. I will say, Lea Salonga's voice is so clear and so distinct. The moment that you hear it, you know who that is.
A wondrous place.
But she, to me, is a iconic Disney princess voice, even if she only did the singing parts. Jasmine is feisty, she's no nonsense, she's bold, she's decisive, she stands up for herself. She's a little bit different from the other princesses in that way. She has these pressures coming from the palace life, and she wants to be free.
Then maybe I don't want to be a princess anymore.
Oh, Allah forbid you should have any daughters.
Linda Larkin's voice for Jasmine was quite different than what the filmmakers initially intended. They wanted more of a Lauren Bacall type, somebody who kind of...
Anybody got a match? Thanks.
And now this is Jasmine's speaking voice.
Wait. Do I know you?
No. No.
You remind me of someone I met in the marketplace.
You're very...
Wonderful, magnificent, glorious, punctual.
Punctual?
Sorry.
Definitely the compliment every woman wants to hear. Luckily, when she went in for the audition, A Whole New World hadn't been written yet, which may have changed the trajectory of her casting. Because if they had wanted someone who could also sing, maybe she wouldn't have booked it. But either way, Princess Jasmine and both of the women did an excellent job bringing her to life.
I look once more, just around the river bend, beyond the shore, where the gulls
I wanted to be Pocahontas so bad.
But I dreamed the day might send just around the river bend.
Really, what a beautiful song. It's kind of crazy. That song was almost cut. I think that they were thinking it was gonna slow down the story too much, or I don't know what they were thinking. Pocahontas was the first Disney princess to actually be based on a real person. And yes, you can get into the historical discrepancies and the controversial portrayment. If we take that out of the picture for now and we just think about the film itself and the music and the story and the artwork and the character design, I think we can all agree that it's a really lovely film. The voice actress of Pocahontas, speaking voice actress of Pocahontas, is Irene Bedard, and she's actually native. The singing was done by Judy Kuhn. She has a background in musical theater, and you can hear it so clearly in her voice.
You can own the earth and still all you'll own is earth until you can paint.
Judy Kuhn was cast first for Pocahontas, and they were really looking for a real native person who could give proper representation to the voice of Pocahontas. And they were looking and looking. If they hadn't found Irene Bedard, then I think Judy Kuhn may have ended up voicing her. But luckily, they did find the right voice actress for Pocahontas. Pocahontas has this defiance and this adventurous spirit. The name itself means like little mischief or playful one. So I found it interesting the voice style that she has a lot of warmth and kind of, I don't know, she's kind of grown up, I guess. There's definitely a big sense of freedom in the way that she expresses herself, and I think that's really beautiful. Glenn Keane, he was the one who animated Ariel, and he was immediately tapped to animate Pocahontas, and apparently he said he wanted to make her the finest woman ever, which makes perfect sense because I remember watching this scene and I remember thinking, Oh my gosh, Pocahontas is the most beautiful woman in the world. Always wanted to be her. I thought she was so, so cool. I think he did succeed in drawing the finest woman ever. The musical score was written by Alan Menken, and the song lyrics were written by Stephen Schwartz, and I think this was their first time collaborating together. A nice powerhouse move here. Truly, I think Pocahontas was a great combination of all of these very talented people, voice acting, musical score, artistry, and they created a lovely film and a lovely Disney princess. So we're gonna stop here for the Disney princesses, but if you want to see some more about that, make sure you subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below which is your favorite Disney princess and why. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.